Okay, so we're diving deep today into something super important for anyone going through that 30-day AI protocol transformation.
Yeah, we're looking at day 28.
It's all about the power of community.
Right.
And if you're on a dealership team, especially management or marketing, this is really for you.
Absolutely.
We're going to unpack why connecting with, those forward-thinking people in the automotive world, it's not just about adopting AI,
Hmm.
but it's maximizing, how AI can impact your dealership's growth.
Yeah, and I think the mission here is really to understand why those connections you build with other innovators
Right.
as you're working on integrating AI into your operations, why that's so important. And we'll be pulling from the 30-day AI protocol
Mm-hmm.
to kind of illustrate that.
Yeah, and the protocol itself uses a really cool analogy that reminds me of how, revolutionary ideas, they don't always take off immediately.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like a farmer, develops these amazing corn seeds, higher yields, disease resistance, like it's a total game changer.
Yeah.
You'd think everyone would be all over it, right?
Right.
But historically, it's only those real innovators,
Yeah.
that small percentage,
Mm-hmm.
who try it out first.
Yeah.
And then you get those early adopters who wait to see, is this really working?
Right.
And then most people, they hold back until it's like proven and everybody's doing it.
Absolutely.
And that's a pretty universal adoption curve, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And it highlights that challenge that you're going to face
Yeah,
with any kind of big shift. And we're seeing that now with AI in automotive.
exactly.
Not every dealership is going to be on board right away.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get those people who are resistant early on can really take your focus away from those who are ready to go.
Exactly. It's kind of like if you're listening to this,
Yeah.
you're probably in that group of innovators and early adopters.
Mm-hmm.
You see the potential of AI and you're ready to, kind of be on the cutting edge with your dealership. So the main thing we're diving into here is that a successful AI implementation isn't about, getting everybody on board at once.
Right.
It's about finding and connecting with those other innovators and early adopters in the car industry
Right.
who are saying, hey, how can we make this work?
Yeah,
And they're ready to take action now.
absolutely. And so let's talk about how you actually go about finding that community
Right.
in the automotive space.
Mm-hmm.
The protocol, it stresses focusing on the dealerships, the people who are already kind of leaning into AI.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are curious about what it can do
Right.
rather than, focusing on the roadblocks.
Yeah.
So it's about finding that shared enthusiasm for exploring the how can we do this?
And you know what's interesting?
What's that?
Those really valuable connections, they often go beyond, just your geographic area.
That's right.
So think about it. A dealer, in New England might find some amazing insight from a dealership in, say, the Pacific Northwest, just because they're in totally different markets.
Yeah.
So they're not really, directly competing with each other.
Right.
And that can make people more open to sharing their strategies and innovations.
Absolutely. I mean, dealerships, right in the same city,
Mm.
they might not want to share, their amazing AI inventory management techniques.
Right.
But if they're hundreds or even thousands of miles away,
Yeah.
all of a sudden that pressure is gone. And that opens the door for some serious collaboration
I love that.
and mutual learning.
It's like removing that sense of competition.
Yeah,
And it's like you're both, rowing in the same direction.
absolutely.
And the protocol actually gives a great example of this.
Yeah.
There was this dealer in the Northeast who came up with a really innovative way to use AI for inventory management.
Oh, wow.
And instead of keeping it a secret,
Right.
they shared it with this national community of, forward-thinking dealers. Yeah. And then what happened? Dealers in California, Texas, Florida, they not only took that core strategy,
Yeah.
but they built on it.
Right.
They tweaked it for their markets.
Yeah.
Added their own little, cool enhancement.
Yeah.
It's like asynchronous innovation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where people are sharing and building upon ideas in these geographically diverse teams.
Right.
And it just leads to these robust solutions they can really adapt.
Yeah, and what's so cool is that all those improvements, those regional tweaks,
Yeah.
they often get shared back within the community.
Right.
So it creates this flywheel of intelligence and progress. It's way faster than any dealership could do alone.
Yeah. It's so interesting when you think about trying to do this whole AI transformation without that support network.
Right.
It's like being stranded on an island, having to figure everything out from scratch.
Yeah.
Every mistake, every solution, you got to fight for it.
Yeah.
Progress is slow.
Right.
And it's risky.
It is.
Without that community, it's easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis and become afraid to even try new things because you don't have that peer validation or shared risk.
Right.
But with the right network, you're tapping into this huge pool of knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
You're learning from the successes and the mistakes of others who are facing the same challenges and opportunities. You get those shortcuts and insights you wouldn't find on your own.
Right. It's like having a team of experienced guides
Yes.
leading you through this uncharted AI territory.
I love that.
So I think it's important to understand how this community aspect really supports the stages of your 30-day journey.
Oh, yeah, totally. The protocol lays it out really well.
Yeah. So let's look at day 16, which focuses on the AI content engine. That's the one that helps you create marketing materials using AI. So instead of every dealership trying to figure out their brand voice and train the AI all on their own, a community can be this platform for sharing techniques and best practices. Like imagine one dealer might share how they record natural conversations with their sales team to capture that genuine voice.
Right.
While another shares their step-by-step guide for creating a nuanced AI style guide.
Yeah.
All that shared knowledge can really speed up the learning curve for everyone. What might have taken months of trial and error now becomes much clearer and faster.
Right. And then there's day 13 and the metrics framework.
Okay.
Which helps you measure how well your AI is doing.
Right.
So instead of dealerships guessing which key performance indicators really matter, you can lean on the experience of others who've already figured out the metrics that actually make a difference.
Right.
This prevents you from, wasting time on things that don't really show you if your AI is working.
It's so important to optimize those efforts.
Yeah.
So you're not just focusing on vanity metrics or things that don't give you the full picture.
What, you want to see what's actually moving the needle.
Yeah. You learn from what others have found to be successful.
And then there's that big challenge of getting your team to embrace change.
Oh, right.
The protocol addresses this on day 24. So instead of your dealership trying to overcome all that internal skepticism alone, you can tap into the real-world success stories from others in the community.
Right. That peer-to-peer validation can be huge.
Yeah.
Like imagine you have a sales manager or service advisor who's not sure about a new AI tool, but then you show them how another dealership, maybe one they even know, has used it successfully and gotten great results.
Yeah.
That's way more convincing than just talking about it abstractly.
Way more powerful than just, top-down mandate.
Right. Exactly.
But the protocol takes it even further. It says these groups of innovators don't just solve problems. They work together to come up with entirely new ways to use AI in car sales.
That's where you get that real synergy. You bring together all those diverse perspectives and experiences, and it sparks these brand new ideas.
It's like brainstorming on steroids.
Absolutely. The protocol talks about this mastermind group.
Oh, yeah.
Where they had this idea for using AI for customer follow-up.
Right.
And then multiple dealers jumped in and added their own twists.
Right.
They integrated social media service department touch points. They refined the whole customer journey. And the result was way more comprehensive and impactful than anyone could have done alone.
It's amazing how much more you can achieve when you're bouncing ideas off each other.
It is.
So for those dealerships and marketing teams listening, the next question is, how do you build those community relationships?
Right? How do you find these people?
The protocol really stresses finding those innovators and early adopters who share your commitment to excellence and who believe in AI's potential in the car industry.
And it's like building a high-performing team. You're not just looking for any connection. You want people and dealerships that are driven, proactive, and share that goal of innovation.
All about alignment.
Yeah.
Right.
And the protocol has some really good tips on how to find those people.
Yeah, one big thing is to listen to the questions people ask at industry events.
Okay.
Are they just focused on, immediate stuff like incentives and sales figures?
Right.
Or are they asking about, new technologies, future trends, the potential of AI? Those asking about the bigger picture, those are probably your innovators.
Yeah.
Another sign is if a dealership is already trying out new approaches. They might not have all the answers. They may have even had some setbacks.
Right.
But that willingness to experiment and take risks, That's the hallmark of an early adopter.
Yeah.
And I think most importantly,
Okay.
look for those who are willing to share both their wins and their losses. The best community members are the ones who understand that learning from each other, even from mistakes, is so much better than just pretending you're perfect.
Yeah, they're the ones who are transparent and share both the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And that helps the whole group grow.
The protocol gives this great example of a dealer who talked openly about a big mistake they made during their AI implementation.
Oh, wow.
That kind of transparency, that vulnerability is so valuable.
Right.
It can save others from making the same costly errors.
Yeah, but finding those people is just the first step.
Right.
Nurturing those relationships, that's where the real long-term value comes in.
It's like tending a garden, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
high-performance garden.
Exactly.
It needs constant attention, the right conditions, consistent effort to really thrive.
And the protocol talks about this dealer group
Okay.
who made a conscious decision to change how they built their community. They went beyond just reaching out when they needed something, and they adopted what they call a contribution-first mindset.
That's a great way to look at it.
So instead of thinking of their connections as just transaction,
Right.
they looked for ways to give value to others.
Mm-hmm.
So they started hosting virtual roundtables on AI.
Okay.
They created platforms for sharing data and results. And they made a point of documenting and sharing their AI journey,
Right.
including the challenges and the changes they had to make.
It's like learning out loud,
Exactly.
which really fosters that engagement and trust.
It does, and the results were pretty incredible.
Yeah.
What started as informal connections became this strong collaborative community. Even dealers who used to be very guarded about their secrets
Right.
became much more open.
Yeah.
They realized that the benefits of sharing and learning together in this fast-paced AI world,
Right.
they outweighed the risks.
It's like the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, and the protocol boils down some key principles for keeping those connections strong. One is consistency over intensity.
Right.
Regular, even if they're short, meaningful interactions, they build stronger relationships than infrequent deep dives.
Yeah, a quick monthly video call
Yeah.
focused on a specific challenge
Right?
can be more effective than a big quarterly meeting.
Exactly.
Another important thing is that vulnerability attracts vulnerability.
Yes.
When you're open and honest about your struggles,
Mm-hmm.
you create a safe space for others to do the same.
Right.
And that leads to deeper insights and more creative solutions.
And finally, the protocol reminds us that success grows when it's shared.
Yeah.
Every time someone shares a win or a strategy that worked, others can adapt it and use it in their own dealerships.
It's like a ripple effect.
Exactly.
Right.
That initial idea spreads and grows, and it often comes back even stronger.
So for all those automotive professionals and dealership teams out there who are doing or thinking about the 30-day AI protocol transformation,
Yeah.
here's the key message.
Your journey into the AI world.
It's going to be much faster, much richer, and much more successful.
If you find, engage with, and contribute to a community.
Of other innovators and early adopters.
Right.
Think about where you stand.
Yeah.
If you're exploring AI and listening to this, you're probably one of those forward-thinking people.
You are.
Now think about how you can use that to connect with others
Right.
who share that same vision for the future of automotive retail.
Powered by AI.
Right.
So here's a final thought for you to consider. What's one specific thing you can do this week
Yeah.
to find and start building relationships with other forward-thinking car professionals? How can you start or deepen those connections and unlock even more potential in your own 30-day AI protocol transformation?
It's all about taking action, right?
Absolutely.
Don't just think about it, do it.
Yeah, make it happen.
That's how real change happens.
It is.
So go out there and find your tribe.
Find your people.
And together, let's revolutionize the car industry.
Let's do it.